Well, hello again. I gotta tell you guys, I wasn't originally gonna do it. When I first saw Raw Beauty Christie's eyeshadow palette with ColourPop, I was like, it looks like other ones that I have. It looks like other ones that I've had recently. The few that jumped out at me right away, the first one was Sigma Beauty's Autumn Rain, which was twice as expensive, at least, if not, yeah, probably at least twice as expensive. And I'm like, okay, well, we've got, you know, the purples, we've got some golds, we've got some browns and rusts, we've got a pink in here. When I saw the original promo pictures, I was like, okay, this could be a dupe. And then I was like, well, ColourPop has done similar ones before, right? I mean, this is the Midnight Masquerade one. Do we still have some of the greens, some of the, you know, some of the blues, some of the browns, some of the pinks, some of the, you know, I'm just like, And then there's So Jaded, another ColourPop palette. Similar colors. We've got kind of a mossy green. We've more of a teal color. We've got a sparkly brown. We've got some of the colors, again, kind of a mauve-y, sort of pinky color. I'll show you one more. This is the Ciate London Editor Palette, New England. And when I was looking at this, I'm like, okay, well, we've got some of the greens. We've got some blue. We've got some browns. And, you know, I'm just like, do I really need similar shades, similar color stories to other ones that I've already purchased? Let me show you. At first glance, I'm like, okay, so we've got greens and kind of a blue and some like mustard and different shades of brown. And haven't we seen this before? At first, I saw Christie's reveals on it, or she's done several videos. I saw her videos on it. I'm like, okay, I get it. You know, I also live in Washington State. She lives on the wet side of the state. I live on the dry side of the state. But I grew up on the wet side, the west side. Sorry, we call it the wet side because it's where it rains. It doesn't rain so much on the side that I live on. Geography lesson, I guess. And so where I grew up was a very, very rainy, lot of evergreen trees, pine trees, beautiful view of Mount Rainier. So when I started hearing about how she came up with this and how she designed it and all these beautiful mushrooms and the watercolor feeling of the packaging is just gorgeous. And then I started seeing swatches and I saw that girl Shay live swatch pretty much the whole dang thing. These little Super Shock, just the packaging is just really adorable. So then I decided, well, you know what? I gotta support the Washington State gal, right? I mean, I'm hearing her story and knowing that 2020 is really her year. Really thinking about all she's gone through to get to this point and how 5 years ago she said her dream was to do a ColourPop collaboration. ColourPop is pretty darn consistent, right? They do a good job of having good quality, just consistent good quality. There are no pressed glitters in here, and there's largely mattes with a couple shimmers. And I was like, okay, this might actually work for me. This might be better than I think it is. And boy, I gotta tell you, I'm gonna do this look and 2 more looks with this one palette, and it's not gonna be like what you saw with other people. Other YouTubers, when they come at you with this palette, man, they're trying to use every single one. So they're starting with the mustard and they're throwing in some kind of burnt orange and they're throwing in the greens all in the same look. And I'm like, doesn't have to be that complicated. Last I looked, I think they still had the palette or it's already sold out. It just seemed like when I got on it, things were selling out pretty quickly. Like I could not buy the whole PR kit, although I would have if I'd had the option. I couldn't get the gel liners because they were already sold out. I could only get 2 of the Super Shocks. She does have 2 glosses. I thought, you know what, I could go with the Glacier, which is a clear, would go with everything, a little bit sparkly, but then I thought Wildflower actually might be better for me. I have it on today. It's not like super sticky or super glossy. I've got it over the top of a MAC Spice lip liner. Have 0 issues. 0 issues with this. I'm ridiculously excited for it. Fun little launch. Super proud of her. I'm gonna do kind of like the old school speed you up, play some music, and if you're at all interested, I would love to show you how a lady of a certain age would interpret a palette like this for 3 different looks that she'd leave the house in, hopefully not embarrass her family, looks that she'd feel confident in and not feel like, okay, everybody's looking at the fact that I've got 15 shades on my eyes right now. Do I think it's worth it? First time playing with it, first impression of this, hands down, completely wearable, completely usable, and completely different than what I thought would have been dupes for it. So if you guys are at all interested, please stick around, please watch the video all the way to the end. Please hit the subscribe button because I would love to make you part of the ladies of a certain age group. We're just playing, and at the end of the day, it just washes off. Let's get into the video. Okay, you guys, that is look number 1 using the new Raw Beauty Christie collab with ColourPop. Looks like this. It's called At Forest Sight. By the time I actually got online and picked it, I was able to get a gloss and 2 of the Super Shock shadows. Mycelium and Like a Moss are the 2 Super Shocks that I get. I didn't get any of the eyeliners. But that's okay, because this super dark shadow in here, which is called Let It Rain, is a nice liner for me. It's not too harsh, it's not too hard. Here's my thoughts on this palette so far. It's a typical ColourPop quality, which means it applies well. A little tiny bit of fallout, but really nothing that you can't just pick up and move on with. The colors I think are complementary. I think that they blend well together, and I have 0 issues with this at all. I used these 3 shades plus Mycelium for the first look for today. Everybody that I've seen do videos on this so far, it's a muddy mess, and not because of the quality, but because they literally want to use every single color in a single look. We're not going to do that on this channel because that's not reality. The reality is not taking 12 shades and putting them all on your eyeballs at the same time. However, would you do a monochromatic look as a lady of a certain age? Would you wear something like this to leave the house in? I would. I'm going to take this off and I'm going to come back with look number 2. We're going to do 3 looks today. Hope you guys are all right with that. I will be right back. I'm actually going to take this yellow color again, marigold color called Chanterelle. I'm going to put it under here because I want to soften underneath just a little bit. Oh yeah, I like that. Okay, you guys, another largely monochromatic look, right? We've got all these, the kind of mustardy color, which makes yellow completely wearable, in my opinion. And then with the kind of rust color called Rainier. It's not Rainier. You've got this homegrown right here, which went on a little bit softer than I kind of was concerned for, and I love it. I thought it was an absolutely beautiful, easy to wear shade. This gold right here was the surprise, and I think that's what gives this look a little bit of interest. It's called West Coast. I don't know that West Coast is all that gold and sunny, at least not in Washington State, truth be told. However, the sun, when it's out, is awfully beautiful. So maybe that's where she's getting it from. Regardless, I think this is a really, really easy way to do fall. You've got, again, this kind of sunset vibe sort of thing going on. I thought the colors actually worked really beautiful together. I really want to take this teal color though, PNW, which if you're not familiar, that's Pacific Northwest. And it's generally the region known as the Pacific Northwest, which would be, for people here, we'd probably even include British Columbia in it. But you've got Washington State, usually Oregon, Idaho, sometimes even Montana is considered part of the Pacific Northwest. I guess you could even go so far as to saying Alaska is. But I'm going to use a little bit of this because I think this color, again, up against Brown Eyes, is just so beautiful. It is one of my favorite colors to actually just wear. So even though I didn't use an eyeliner, that was the icing on the cake. That did it for me. Okay guys, look number 2, and again, I kept it in the same color family. And I think when you keep it a little bit more simple, you get so much more use out of this palette. I think this is super flattering and I really love it. And I'm not one to normally wear yellow or orange. And I would absolutely wear this. Okay guys, I'm gonna take this off and then I'll come back with my third and final look. At Forest Site, Raw Beauty Christie, ColourPop, eyeshadow, whole collection. Congratulations, Christie. This is a really, really beautiful palette. I think that there's a couple really cool things about this. There's so many mattes in here, first of all. One of the things I absolutely love about this palette, it's largely mattes. There's 1 satin and 2 shimmers. Those are your 2 shimmers. This Evergreen is a little bit more of like a silvery green, silvery gray green. And then this gold is a yellow, true yellow gold. And then your black one down here, which is Let It Rain. Yeah, Let It Rain. That's your satin. The rest of the mattes, you really can do this Evergreen with any one of these, or with that. You can do the gold with any of these. Man, I mean, I just feel like you have so many choices in here, even though it's not an expensive palette. And you pick up a couple of these. I kind of wish I would have gotten the campfire one, the orange one, even though I'm not like an orange eyeshadow gal. These two as either toppers or inner corner highlights, or just a little something to take it to that next level. Man, I think this is pretty darn cool. I'm super proud of her. All right, you guys. That is it for my Raw Beauty Christie 3 looks with 1 palette on this very fun collection. I'm going to film my intro and I'm going to tell you my initial original thoughts on this and zoom you out a little bit so you're not this close. All right, you guys, I hope you're doing really well, and until my next video, bye for now. I have red mascara.